The story is titled Why I Forgave the Man Who Killed My Father. The room was cold, or maybe it was just me. Courtrooms have a way of being so quiet, even when they are full. Every cough echoes, every shuffle feels disrespectful, but none of that mattered because my eyes were locked on one thing: the man who had killed my father. He sat there in handcuffs, staring at the floor like he had lost something down here. I had imagined this moment so many times. I thought I would feel free, that my fist would ball up and my eyes would scream, but instead, all I felt was empty. I didn't know then that this moment would be the beginning of something I never imagined: forgiveness. My father, the giant. My father was a giant, not in size, but in presence. His name was Michael Obinna. He was tall, yes, but what made him towering wasn't his height. It was the way he carried his life and the way he carried ours. He was the kind of man who hugged you so deeply you forgot that pain felt like a moment. The kind of man who came back from work with your favorite snacks, even if he was broke. A teacher by profession, but a philosopher in his soul. He taught me how to read, how to ride bike, how to forgive my brother when he broke my favorite toy. Life is not always fair, he would say, but you fit still choose to do wetin go make you sleep well at night. I didn't understand then what that meant. I do now. We were a modest family in Enugu, middle class, not poor, not rich. We laughed a lot. We cried sometimes too, but my father was the balance, the peacemaker, the man whose laugh could melt tension like butter on fire. When I turned 15, he took me on a trip to Obudukato Ranch, just the two of us. We hiked, we talked about dreams, boys, heartbreak. That was the last long conversation we ever had. If I had known, I would have recorded every second. The night that changed everything. It happened on a Saturday night. My father had gone out to buy suya and drinks. He always liked his Sunday afternoon football with some roasted meat and a bottle of malt. He said it reminded him of university days. We were watching a movie when the phone rang. It was from a strange number. My mother picked. I remember her face. Her expression went from mild curiosity to frozen terror. Then she dropped the phone. Michael, accident, hospital, she whispered. We didn't know it wasn't an accident. Not yet. By the time we reached the hospital, he was already gone. Stab wound, right in the chest. The doctor said it was fast. But how can death ever be called fast? To the people it leaves behind. The police called it a robbery. He had tried to fight back. His wallet was gone, so was his phone. All that was left was his blood-stained shirt and the sound of my mother's screams echoing down the hallway. The days after his death, the noise after silence. The days after his death were loud in a different way. Sympathizers came, neighbors, church members. Everyone had something to say, some helpful, some not. Na so God want am. E too good for this world. E pain me well well, but no one could take the ache out of our bones, not even my father's closest friends. We buried him under an old mango tree in our village. That tree still gives fruit every season, as if trying to keep part of him alive. The police weren't hopeful. Too many open robbery cases, not enough resource. But 6 weeks later, they called us in. They had arrested someone. A young man named Samuel. He had tried to sell my father's phone. I didn't want to see his face, but I also couldn't stop myself. I googled him. He was 27, no job, one previous arrest for stealing a motorcycle. His face didn't look like a killer's, but then again, what does a killer look like? His name was Samuel. The trial started quietly. Samuel didn't plead guilty. His lawyer claimed he was innocent, that someone else sold him the phone, that the police were lying. But the CCTV footage from a nearby kiosk showed him trailing my father. The blood on his shoe sealed it. He said nothing throughout most of the trial until the day of sentencing. When asked if he had anything to say, he looked up for the first time. Our eyes met. "I'm sorry," he said. "I didn't mean to kill him. I just wanted money. He fought me. I didn't know what I was doing. I felt bell rise in my throat. He didn't mean to kill him. That's all." He was sentenced to life imprisonment. My mother cried, not from grief, but from exhaustion. My younger brother clenched his fist. I just sat there, numb, conversations with my pain. Grief is not linear. It comes in waves. Some days I was okay. Some days I hated the word. Therapy helped. A little. I started seeing a counselor after I slapped a man in traffic who reminded me of Samuel. My anger was eating me alive. My relationships were falling apart. I hated my mother for being too quiet. I hated my brother for moving on too fast. I even hated my father for leaving us. But most of all, I hated Samuel. I wrote letters I never sent. To him, to God, to my father. I cursed, I cried, I begged. But still, peace didn't come. Visiting the prison, it was a strange decision, I know. Even I don't fully understand why I did. 2 years after the trial, I found myself standing in front of the maximum security prison in Enugu. My hands were shaking. I wasn't sure what I hoped to achieve. I only knew the hatred was destroying me. And maybe, just maybe, looking him in the eyes again would help. When I applied for a visit pass, I expected it to be denied, but it wasn't. Maybe he wanted to see me too. I told no one, not my mother, not my brother, not my friends. A prison officer led me through two metal doors and into a cold, cramped room with two plastic chairs. Then they brought him in. He looked thinner, more human, not the monster I had carried in my head for 2 years. He sat down, quiet, unsure. I said nothing for almost a full minute. My heart was pounding in my ears. "I don't know why I'm here," I finally said. He nodded. "Me neither." But then he did something I never expected. He started to cry. It was not theatrical, not manipulative, just raw, deep sobs, like a child. And in those tears, I saw not just guilt, but fear, regret, a man crumbling. I think about it every day. He whispered. I didn't even know who he was. I was high, hungry, angry, and I saw a man smiling, enjoying life. And I wanted to ruin it. I did ruin it. I don't deserve forgiveness. But I needed to say it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And then he stopped. He looked at me like a man awaiting execution. I didn't forgive him that day. But for the first time, I stopped seeing him as a demon. The letters. A month after the visit, I received a letter. It had the prison's official seal. It was from Samuel. I almost tore it up, but curiosity won. He had written 10 pages. Some of it was repetitive, some of it confused, but what stood out was this line. I don't ask for forgiveness because I deserve it. I ask because I want to believe that something good can still come out of what I destroyed. He wrote about his childhood, how his father left, how his mother died of cervical cancer, how he joined the gang because it felt like the only way to matter. None of this excused anything, but it filled in blanks. He didn't try to justify. He didn't blame the devil or society. He just laid himself bare. The last line stayed with me. If I could give my life to bring your father back, I would, but I can't. All I can do is try to be less of a monster with whatever time I have left. I cried reading it, not for him, but for the pain that was everywhere, mine, my family's, even his, finding my own closure. Forgiveness doesn't mean you forgot. It doesn't even mean the pain stops. It just means you stop letting it control you. After receiving that letter, I started writing. I wrote about grief, about anger, about love. I wrote about my father, not as a victim of murder, but as a man who lived beautifully. I started speaking at youth events, at prisons. I told Samuel's story without using his name. I talked about how one wrong decision can ruin generations. And slowly, I began to feel something I hadn't felt in years: lightness. What forgiveness feels like. People often ask me, how did you do it? How did you forgive the man who took your father? I tell them the truth. I didn't forgive him for his sake. I did it for mine. I was tired of carrying a burning coal in my hand, hoping it would hurt someone else, but it was only scaring me. Forgiveness is not weakness. It's not letting someone off the book. It says, you no longer have power over me. My mother eventually found out about the prison visit. She was shocked, angry at first, but in time, she came to understand. My brother still refuses to speak about Samuel's name. That's his journey, and I respect it. But for me, I have chosen peace, the grave and the note. Every year I visit my father's grave. The mango tree still stands tall. Its shade is wide and its fruits are sweet. This year I brought a note. I placed it gently under a stone where the roots peek through the soil. It said, Daddy, I let go of the hate. I finally did what you always taught me, to choose peace, even when it's hard. I miss you every day, but I carry you with me. In every choice, in every breath, I hope I made you proud. And just like that, the wind picked up. I smiled through the tears because I knew wherever he was, he understood.